Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. As the COVID-19 outbreak continues to impact our communities, we have seen many questions around navigating this challenging time, especially for tax and accounting pros. Here at CountingWorks Pro, we are committed to supporting our clients and informing you of all the ways to deal with this emergency, and we're always here to help. So we have plenty of resources available to assist you during this time, whether that be expert-written COVID-19 content or a secure portal. We cover what you really need to operate your practice digitally. So today's workshop topic is about the 3 truths that tax and accounting professionals have learned through the COVID-19 emergency. So first, I'd like to introduce our presenters. So Lee, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, I am Lee Reams, CEO and co-founder of CountingWorks Pro. I will say what I've learned from this experience is it just kind of reinforces my belief that tax and accounting pros are the most trusted advisors to their taxpayers and small business owners, and they've really stepped up the game through this process. So really proud of the industry and excited to talk about some of the tools that we've created for you. Hopefully you're getting some great feedback, and if you are unaware of some of the items, that's what we're trying to do here, create a little more awareness of different things, best practices that people are using to help them thrive through this process.
And I am Katie Smith. I am your customer success ambassador here at CountingWorks Pro. We've been quarantined for a while now, but it's still really important to stay focused on serving your clients as their trusted advisors. So I'm excited to review today's topic and helping you think of more ways to answer questions and plan ahead during this crisis.
And this is Steve Anderson, Business Development Manager here at CountingWorks Pro, and very excited about talking about this and different strategies of connecting to your clients during these trying times, and hopefully give you 2 or 3 different ways of communicating with your clients and just bettering their service. Now, keep them a little more comfortable on what's going on in the industry.
And I'm Alexa Myers. I'm the marketing manager here at CountingWorks Pro. So let's dive into today's topic. So on today's agenda, we'll mostly be covering these 3 truths that tax and accounting pros are learning these days. So the first one is your clients need you now more than ever. Number 2 is constant communication is the best way to strengthen client relationships. And number 3 is that a digital workflow isn't that hard to implement. So we have a lot of content for each of these topics, and let's get kind of into it more. So today's workshop, we will have a Q&A at the end, but I also encourage you guys to ask questions along the way using the Q&A box on your screen. As a disclaimer, we are not medical professionals, and this webinar is not intended to provide medical advice. So for any concerns about your personal health, we urge you to contact your local health organization and professionals and stay updated with information from the CDC and the World Health Organization.
All right, I think it's my turn. So a little bit of an intro here, and this is something that I am very proud of, and I know you have been very busy fielding calls, a lot of stress in clients, dealing with a tax deadline, and assistance with the PPP funds, the EIDLs. Everything has been somewhat overwhelming for you and your practice, and you're just like others. Most of you are locked up in quarantine as well. So the one thing and the big truth that we're trying to say is obviously tax and accounting professionals will play a vital role in assisting taxpayers and businesses through this emergency, right? So your clients have a ton of stress right now, uncertainty on how they're going to survive. They have different choices to make, and your role as your client's most trusted advisor is to help them kind of settle down, look at it as a big picture, a long-term thought process versus a short-term emotional decision, and really help them answer their questions, plan ahead, and guide their clients through to make what we hope are smart financial decisions. Our role at CountingWorks Pro is really to assist you in kind of developing that roadmap and helping you communicate with your clients. So the challenges and roadmap to recovery ahead. Obviously we've seen through the different models, whether that be on the medical side to the economic side, we really have no idea what's going to happen, how this is all going to shake out. Economists are saying we're going to see a large drop in GDP. That's obvious if everyone is closed, locked down, people are not spending money. Over 22 million people have already filed for unemployment. I saw a recent study that said over or around 7 million businesses are at risk of closing permanently. So obviously, the goal here is, as tax and accounting pros, and is to really help stem that statistic. So make that so people are not failing, that we can help them through this challenge and thrive on the other side of it. So the good news is, unlike 2008, where the government and fiscal policy was a little slow to open up, that's not happening this time. If anything, people would argue that they're going overboard with the amount of support, the amount of debt, but that is happening now. Many businesses, we've been reading, people say, well, 5 to 20% have actually received their PPP funding. Lots of angst there, a lot of anger. Wells Fargo did not perform well, but other vendors like Lendio and PayPal did. So, helping your clients through this, especially now that we have the next round of PPP funding coming up, is really going to be important to allow your business clients to pivot and survive, right? So those are kind of the main challenges. It's nothing new to you if you're watching all the headlines. So I look at this as there's 3 main phases to consider right now. And the reason I'm just highlighting this at all is, again, some people look very short term. Oh my God, the world's ending. I got to shut down. I got to hunker down. They're almost paralyzed to this. But there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel. There always is. As Americans and business owners, we adapt. We come out of this. We'll persevere, and we'll come out of it strong. So phase 1, the initial health response, which is going on. Now that people are feeling a little more comfortable, maybe this is under control. Yes, there are headlines that it will come back and it won't, end and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is phase 1 is kind of this hunker down mentality, survive at all costs. Then we get into phase 2, which we're right in the middle of it. This is where the major monetary and fiscal stimulus, the CARES Act, the new PPP funding, the Federal Reserve has really stepped up and really backstopping a lot of industries. We still have things like oil that are completely discombobulated. But the good news is the markets are somewhat operating, and there is a good backstop as far as the fiscal and monetary response. So I think that is very strong as far as phase 2, which leads us into phase 3, which is really what I want to talk about today and kind of start looking, what is going to be the new normal. There's a lot of talk about that. Again, we're not here to debate what it will look like, but the real question is, what kind of recovery will we see? So will this be a huge drop and then a big pent-up demand recovery? Will it be a W, which is the big drop and then a huge pent-up demand recovery, but then another fallback before we do a long-term growth? An L, which is the worst case scenario, or a U, where it's just a longer trough and then back to growth. So, I have no idea. Obviously, economists, are all over the place for this one. We'll obviously see what happens. Again, I believe in people. I believe in humans adapting and overcoming. So that's why a lot of these models, and again, we don't know what will happen with the health side, but the stimulus is here. There will be a lot of pent-up demand. There's a lot of different surveys that talk about the fear factors. But I think things where you're seeing markets open maybe prematurely, whether that be Florida, Georgia, you're seeing a huge, what I call that pent-up demand curve. So that people want to get out. They're tired of being locked up. They want to live life the way they lived it before. So that's a good thing. What that does with the health side, who knows? But the point is, there's going to be a recession, obviously. Will it be a slower and deep one? And then recovery, we're not sure. But we want to really look at who are the losers and the winners here, and kind of start planning ahead on how your practice can serve your clients and find perhaps new niches that are going to be in big demand after this. So your clients need you now more than ever. And again, I'm really proud of, the stories we've heard from our own clients has been astounding, really stepping up. And I look at it this way: the medical profession obviously are their heroes right now. The first responders, people are risking their lives to help people. These people are on the front line, but guess what? If you're going to look at, they're on that front line. The tax and accounting side really are leading the charge to help their clients navigate the economic side. So, the long hours and people have been putting in, helping clients prepare for these loans, kind of going over the different options. It's been really impressive. And then, of course, this is right at the time when these tax deadlines, the traditional tax deadlines at least, were hitting. So Most of you have been working harder than ever. And what I am seeing is a lot of, especially on social media, the DIY users that have made huge mistakes. I think they're starting to open their eyes to, wow, I really need to step back. And there's areas that I have an expertise, there's areas I definitely don't. So these are some of the opportunities we're trying to identify that help tax and accounting professionals kind of grow through this. So, these are the kind of client questions. You're already getting these, but I'm just going to kind of reiterate, should I take on more debt? We've seen businesses rush to apply for PPP loans, and they've laid off their entire staff and probably have no chance of opening up again. Now they have, a couple $100,000 in debt that will be due in 2 years. They're not going to get it forgiven. There's a lot of different challenges, right? So, before people just act, it's a matter of planning, right? What tax credits apply to them? Should they lay off staff? Do they need to raise cash fast? What government help is available? There's so much complexity here. How many times did the rules for the PPP change? Even the formula to apply for the PPP changed, I think 4 or 5 times from when they announced it to like the next week. Augusto, ADP were all making changes to their formulas. So an interesting time, so to speak. What changed with the NOLs? So there's a bunch of options here to allow you to serve your clients a little bit differently than perhaps you were doing before. There's basically an opening here. This is a major league disruption, a disruption on how you work with clients, what they expect from you, and then perhaps even a disruption on the services that you're providing. So I'm speaking to those who have not gone through our value pricing and some of the things we've been talking about, but do you offer virtual CFO services? How does tax planning fit into the new normal? And what about the huge influx of tax problems and delinquencies that are going to be coming up? We have 22 million or so unemployed. That number obviously will get larger and then obviously come down at some point, but there are going to be people that are in financial trouble. There's going to be a huge increase in that side. So these are the obvious ones. The SBA Program Consulting you're already doing. The PPP Fund 1 obviously ran out very quickly. Some lenders did very well. Other lenders did very, very poorly. Wells Fargo is my bank. I am in awe that a large bank like Wells Fargo never got off the ground. They let so many of their business owners down, and it's a trust factor, right? So, the companies that actually stepped up and came through, some surprises, a small company or a technology company called Lendio. I think they're more of a front end, and they were helping it make it easy to streamline the application and then send the applications through to a long list of smaller lenders. I think they did $5 billion or so in the first round, which is really impressive. PayPal was amazing. PayPal came into it very late in the game, made it very easy to roll loans through. So hopefully with part 2 coming through right now, I'm sure Wells Fargo will probably take a huge chunk of that in their pent-up demand, but hopefully you and your clients are ready for it and have that going through. Again, it's your role as your client's most trusted advisor to analyze the different programs, both big and small. And there's also local, there's a lot of different states, a lot of cities have different emergency kind of support programs. So there's definitely things that are much more than just the federal government. So do your homework with your clients, make sure you're finding every option that's available to them. With this, we created a series of emails, white papers, blog articles, you name it. We have put this together for you. Please, if you are not aware of where it is, a lot of this is in 2.0. And so if you're not on 2.0, I would suggest you get there. A lot of the new material we are putting in only in the new system. So if you need any assistance, please communicate, reach out to the customer success side and get trained on it and start using it. So there's a lot of different tools that we provided. These are turnkey. You can edit them if you would like, but please use them. There has been a lot of debate on whether you should be compensated for this type of consulting. I know there's some business coaches, or I don't know what you call them anymore, but they're, who they are. They're on Facebook and they're telling you, how we've saved all these businesses and blah, blah, blah. And, these huge fees they're trying to charge clients for the PPP consulting. If you're doing the work, I think it's an irregular engagement. The AICPA says, yes, you can be compensated. Obviously, they also came out and said you cannot act as an agent to the loan. Some are just doing this at the goodwill to keep them as clients, right? We want our clients to survive. So whether this is a revenue opportunity or not, 100% you should be supporting your clients through the SBA Program Consulting. And who knows how long this next round of PPP funding will last. It might be gone in days, but I'm sure there's more opportunities as we go. The second one is something that not everyone is familiar with, but reverse mortgage consultings and referrals. So we have been talking for a long time with Finance of America. They have a very successful reverse mortgage program. This is a way that people can use, and older clients, of course, can use the equity in their home to create a way to get cash quickly. There's pros and cons to this, but I think this may be an area that some of your older clients should be considering. There are a bunch of safeguards in place. Your clients do need to go through a secondary kind of third-party consultation before they are actually allowed to get this type of funding. But this is an area we're building some marketing material around, some educational material around. You can offer this as a consultation or even kind of like an application process. So this might be something you would look into to kind of add another bullet, so to speak, on the ways to plan through this, especially with cash flow. There's ways to pull out some lines of credit that grow over time. So there's a bunch of different options here. We'll provide some details as we go, but it's something to think about. The third one, and it's to me one of the biggest opportunities, is the COVID-19 tax planning and tax credits. There is a ton of different retroactive things that were happening already, but it's time that if you have not done this yet, you can grow your business through your existing client base. What you do is you set up a campaign that basically you can either target specific clients who spend a certain amount of dollars, or they have certain types of businesses or income, and take them from a annual tax preparation type arrangement to a monthly recurring tax planning subscription. And my example here is if you just got 10% of your clients that would jump on this and turn over, it basically, for some businesses, that could be almost more than what you're charging for your entire client base in the tax preparation side. So these are working 100%. There's a lot of businesses or tax and accounting pros that have worked this way. I know, Steve, you had a lot of input of some people who are getting some great success, or even having clients call them and say, hey, I want to focus on tax planning. There's a lot of things here in the tax code right now that will save me a lot of money. What do I do? So kind of, Steve, what is some feedback on that?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Lee. Especially recently, the fear of the unknown and wanting to stay in touch and in front of all the changes. A lot of our clients recently have been reaching out to their clients just to help them, kind of guide them through, as their clients are a little scared as well. They don't know what to expect. And our tax professionals and accountants have been getting hired kind of throughout, like you were mentioning, just keep it consistent, to keep them updated, keep things going, and keep things smooth. And they've had great success with it. Just their current client database has been changing their, I won't say subscription in a sense, but just getting more of a monthly subscription and payment than just the one-time fee throughout the year.
Yeah, and it's definitely something we're trying to support. We're creating, now that we're kind of coming out of the COVID-19 blog overload creation, and we'll talk about it later, but we've done 25, 30 articles. I don't even know now. We've been working very hard on creating content, but we have on the dev roadmap many more what we'll call marketing type programs. So anything we talk about here, we'll start supporting them with marketing material on your side. So just look for that as we add it. So going to number 4, the emergency virtual CFO, I think this is a no-brainer. You obviously don't even really need to market this. Your business owners are calling. I keep going back to people not making emotional decisions. Again, this is a point in time. This is, we don't know what we'll be like in 6 months. We don't know what we'll be like in 3 months. So, a lot of businesses right now, even our business, we kind of looked at it where let's break down and kind of throw out our dev roadmap. We had one for 18 months and said, what do we need to do to pivot to the new normal, and what do our clients need right now? And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the rest of this. But what I'm getting at is, be the calm, trusted voice in your client's ear. And, right now they need this type of service. And to me, this is a monthly recurring program. This is not the traditional bookkeeping, accounting. A lot of that can be obviously automated and AI and all the different tools you can start using. There's Bill.com. There's a bunch of tools that you can integrate that will make your life a little bit easier. But basically, think about it, decisions on payroll, headcount, receivables, budgeting, cash flow. These are what virtual CFOs do. So, creating new new budgets, you need to look at what is the initial downturn, how long will it last, when will things come back, how quickly will they come back? There's a lot of budgeting, cash flow analysis that needs to be done. There's no way your clients can do all this on their own. They're just trying to survive. They're not thinking these things through. I think that's the role. So coming out and actually offering this type of service, you'll be surprised how many clients will jump on it. And again, it's much cheaper than having a full-time accountant for them. And it's definitely an area that they do not have this type of expertise. So this is a huge opportunity. Again, we're creating outreach campaigns based on this. And the fifth one is the IRS payroll tax problems. Who knows how many things are going to be forgiven, when penalties are going to start coming in, what happens after July 15th. There's a lot of talk, but we already have 14 million taxpayers facing some sort of IRS action. There's predictions we're going to have 10 to 20 million more. So this is going to be a huge wave. If you are not currently have this as a segment in your client base or your service options, it's something that you definitely need to consider, especially the amount of revenue that can come with it. So I would definitely, if you're looking at this, I would start setting up your marketing material to start getting indexed now. And we have some nice surprises coming in the product mix, which I'll talk about here later, that will be specific to this. But again, it's a fairly obvious one. IRS and payroll tax problems is going to be a huge issue. Going to 6. Now, the winners and losers, originally when I was writing this content, I was trying to kind of pick and choose. There's a ton of different studies. If you Google them, you're going to start seeing different statistics, and it's changing a lot. But you're going to see where, the huge uptick in demand, and it changed. So through phases of this, week 1 through 2 through 3, it might have been certain businesses were down more than others. And then, it went from the whole, we're all out of toilet paper to now there's toilet paper everywhere. So there's certain kind of short-term issues versus long-term issues. We know that travel industry, hotels, restaurants, events, gas stations, I think that's going to be something that's going to continue to struggle for a while. A lot of those businesses have pivoted and come up with really innovative ways to do things, but there's other businesses, I'm just going to say attorneys, for example, from bankruptcy attorneys, litigators, contract disputes with landlords. What I'm trying to tell you to do is start thinking about the winners and losers and start developing services around them. So those that are going to be doing very well, or those that are doing poorly that will need your type of services, there's still going to be chargeable events there, right? So really start identifying who these winners and losers are going to be. I think this is the time, if you are not currently focusing on niches or service industries, it's time to start thinking about that. And this kind of leads into, we are coming out with what we're calling our Lightning product line. There will be more details, but basically it will be the ability to cost effectively target specific niches or services. And this will be another maybe 60 days or so. We'll let you know as it goes. But what I want you to do is start thinking about kind of, if I was going to specialize, what would it be in? So basically start planning now what you want to focus on. All right, so I'm moving into a little bit of, we've been communicating with you as much as we can. Not everyone has seen everything, but a lot of you know and have been using a lot of the different COVID-19 related content that we've created, but I'm just going to jump into it. So during a time of crisis, it's more important than ever that you are in front of your clients. Your clients want to hear from you. And we know this based on the reviews our clients are getting on their GMB accounts, on their TaxBuzz or CountingWorks accounts. People really appreciate it. And obviously you know this because they're calling you after they receive articles, right? But they really appreciate being updated, getting information that they can trust, that's definitely written for them versus more newsworthy or kind of headline CNN type, copy. So I think the importance of showcasing your expertise during this emergency is more important than ever. I know Katie had some feedback that she wanted to add as well.
Yeah, as stated earlier, your clients need you now more than ever. They need someone they can trust. And the clients that I've been speaking with, I've been encouraging them to be the bright light during this dark time. You know, there's a lot of doom and gloom out there, and you have the opportunity to provide a break in that with some stability and guidance. Lee will be touching on some of the tools in a bit that we've been providing over the past 3 to 4 weeks, and they are there for you to use at your disposal. So I encourage each of you to use them. But more importantly, utilizing these tools will really allow you to showcase your expertise and have your clients looking to you for some relief during this time.
All right. Thank you, Katie. So I'm going to get into what we have been working on. And I don't know if we've actually hit it all, you know, by the time we did the slide. I know we've had 2 or 3 more articles come out in the last day. Today we have more. But basically, we have tried to step up as much as possible to make sure we did not miss anything. We wanted to make sure that you were not stressing and writing content. So our experts, we've been working, I don't want to say 24/7 because we have been sleeping, but it has been a lot of work just getting this all ready and just analyzing it all and then making changes to content that we already wrote that the rules changed, and the rules changed once, twice, 3 times, but definitely take advantage of them. If you go into the categories and you look up COVID-19 on your blog, you'll be able to see all of the COVID-19 related CARES Act deadline changes, whatever written content. We've done 25 plus articles. We continue to add to that. We do videos that kind of correspond with a lot of this content. That is available in the marketing library. That's 2.0. So if you're not on 2.0, definitely log in and start checking that out. In addition, we developed some digital workflows. We chose Trello because it is a free tool. It's a widely used tool, and it's very easy to implement. We built out 2 workflows to start, one for 1040 type clients, one for business. We have 31 other workflows that are in the approval process that will be rolling out soon. And we are integrating these workflows within the portal to Trello. So there will be a product announcement once that goes live. Right now, you can start using the Trello boards. And basically what we're doing is trying to create or recreate things that you did on paper in the past. Different workflows that you did within your office that you can now do remotely. So how do you assign projects? How do you walk clients through the different phases from engagement, to collecting documentation, e-sign, missing information? That is what this is designed to do. We are not trying to be a all-out practice management platform. We're basically trying to isolate what are the 80% of the most common things that you're doing. What is easy for the office to learn is easy to use. You don't need to go through multi-day training sessions. So that's kind of our philosophy on this. So it might work for 95% of our clients. 5% of our clients want a more robust system. We're not trying to be a practice management system, but we're definitely answering the call. How can you guys work more efficiently remotely? I think the Trello workflows are great. We created 2 different free webcasts. You have access to these in your account. We created a bunch of different email templates. Please look through it. These are just templates to start with. You can edit them. We had in the past had some areas where you're supposed to add links. We realized that some clients weren't even reading it and just sending it, which is great. I'm glad you trust us, but they're going out with insert your link here. So we made some adjustments, but please check it out before you send it. We did set up our resource hub. If you have not been there, we've been updating that throughout every day, basically. That is hugely popular. We're getting thousands and thousands of visitors to the hub. Check it out. We've been doing an overload on curated social media posting. It's been much more than 4 times weekly, as you've seen. If you do not have your social media account set up, please do it. I know I get reports. I know there's 100 and some of you on LinkedIn that have disconnected. We don't make the rules. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter doesn't disconnect as much, but the social accounts after the political fiasco have made it so you have to just basically go in and set up or reapprove that we're allowed to post on your behalf. We cannot do that for you. So we have notifications that go out to you. When you log in, there's, hey, you're disconnected. We send emails, but please connect those. We're in a zero-click world. Not everybody goes to your website. Social media is where people are hanging out right now. So if you're disconnected, these messages and this important content, your brand your showcasing of your expertise is not being received by your clients. The other one that is of huge importance that we still do not have enough clients jumping on is our Google My Business integration. Google My Business is the number one most important tool other than your website for getting web-driven referrals. We integrated with GMB, so we are pushing content out to GMB just like we do the other social sites. What do you think Google's doing with that? I mean, if it's COVID-19, Google is highlighting it. Google is ranking brands that have content or are active on their GMB higher than others. And this is not just for local search anymore. So an example, if you look for expat taxes help, right? And it's going to look at your local area and even show GMB accounts that offer expat taxes to a local site if you were located around them. It's not just a local thing anymore. So Google is getting very smart with the way they're using GMB, and they're really pushing that tool. So please get your GMB connected. We connected as many as we could, and there's a certain percentage of clients we just don't have access to it. The PPP comparison sales deck, that was an awesome tool that our team put together, side-by-side comparison, really explaining the different loan programs, what they're used for. We did the SBA sales decks. We did the PPP outreach emails. And then we have, if you haven't seen it, the last one here is we have a download we had 16 different white papers we did on different parts of the CARES Act. They're part of our total practice program. We were giving them to you guys for free. If you have not downloaded them, I don't know if we're including that link, but we have been emailing you. That is available. Please download them. Some great information in there. Just going to roll through here real quick. The email templates are in the campaign section. 2.0 is where we're adding all the new ones. There's a ton of different things that we're adding that are not just COVID-19 related. Please check it out. Start utilizing this content. The Google My Business, if this is the biggest takeaway from here, please afterwards get your GMB hooked up. Here's the real quick instructions. Log into your portal account. Click the drop down by your name in the upper right hand corner and navigate to settings. Click on social media at the top of the screen. Click on connect to Google. This will prompt you to log into your Google account. Once you've connected your account, scroll down to view Google My Business locations, select your office locations and save. As you can see on the right, here's just some examples of what it looks like in your GMB account. We are putting out some amazing content here. Please take advantage of this. This is a big difference. I mean, if you wanted to say what is, again, the takeaway of today, get your GMB hooked up. Google obviously controls most of search. The more active clients on Google and GMB, we have noticed get indexed better. So it's reviews, it's mobile first, it is GMB optimization. So please take advantage of this. This is a tool that's available to our growth clients. Sales decks. We put a couple different sales decks together. We think these tools are going to be important enough that we're going to continue to do them for other subjects, but we have a couple of different ones. You have received communications for this. If you need to, or you miss those communications, reach out to Sarah or the customer success side on the VIP side and request them. So this goes into the workflow or the workshop that we did last month about digital workflows. I know a lot of you have stepped up. It's not hard to do. We had some great tips from VPN users, different ways to use tools like Trello, Slack, others. I know a lot of you have started using the portal more than ever, which is great. So, who knew that digital and remote work would work so well, right? So we've even heard feedback. It's like, whoa, we might change the way we use our office, change the way we interview clients, maybe downsize the office where we have areas for interviews when we see clients in person, but allow some more remote work type of arrangements with our pros. So we'll see how this all shakes out. Again, it might not be the best for you. You might be chomping at the bit to get back to the office. But this is a new reality, and it's definitely from a lifestyle point of view, and even the way you service client, it might be a more beneficial way. So definitely check out our Trello workflows as you go through. So I've talked about Trello, but let's just say, what is Trello? Trello lets you work more collaboratively and get more done. So Trello's boards, lists, and cards enable you to organize and prioritize your projects in a fun, flexible, and rewarding way. Basically, it's a very easy process to assign projects to clients, put due dates on them, put tasks on them, and walk them through start to finish in an engagement to make sure that you don't lose any steps, people don't get stuck in steps. And again, the more important part of Trello, it is easy to use. It's very intuitive. That's why it's the most popular. So that's kind of why we integrated with them. And then here's just one of the examples with a Trello. So basically they're set up in columns. There's different cards. You can assign people to them. We've given instructions on our Trello workflows on the left-hand side, getting started. And we've had kind of the labels and kind of the basics for them. You can customize and do whatever you want with them to make them fit your firm, but we're just trying to give you kind of a starting point, if that makes sense. So we hope you're using, I know we've had thousands have already gone through the Trello's main website using them, and as we integrate them with the Portal 2.0 soon, you'll start seeing some other options to make this part of your practice. So going back to the 2.0 and a little feedback here, we've been working really hard on getting 2.0 completely stable. We're doing a lot of speed related improvements. We have some things rolling out. We had planned to go out on April 16th was a big server upgrade. Since tax season got so changed, we were kind of stalling that. But the 2020 for us from a development standpoint is speed, dependability. And if you look at all of the improvements and bug fixes we've done on 2.0 in the last 4 months, it's been a huge effort on our part to get that thing as stable and as fast and easy to use as possible. So again, we're trying to continue with a little bit of a pivot on our side. We were going more into the mobile first type of mindset. That's important when it comes to rankings. It's important when it comes to user experience and smaller screen sizes. We will continue. That kind of just got pushed back, but our Lightning product rollout, our niche product rollout, hopefully within the next 60 days, that will be something that will be on your radar. So take a look for it. Trello, we're going to get out here sooner than later. We're in beta testing with that now. But we're really trying to work with you in this new normal, so to speak. So we're also exploring, maybe some video chat type tools and integration. There's been a lot of confusion on how to use tools, what tools are secure, not secure. So there's definitely things that we're thinking about right now. But regardless, start moving yourself to the 2.0 workflow. We have training sessions every week. Please jump in there and start logging in and start getting yourself used to that program. So that's the basics. I hope this, I wanted to enlighten you on tools that we are using more than anything else, how we can help you, right? We're here to partner with you. We're here to help you get through this. And obviously, we want our clients to thrive. We want you to be ranked better in Google. We want to have more brand awareness. And those clients who need help, we want them choosing our clients, based on the reputation you guys have built. So we're excited about the tools we've done. We're trying to be a voice of stability and trust for you. We have your back. So definitely, we're here to help. If you have any questions, especially on the Google My Business side, please reach out to us. If you haven't used any of the email templates, that's what we're here for. So those are kind of the next steps that we can kind of walk ourselves through that. But thank you for spending the time with us today. I do have some time for some Q&A. So let's see what we have, Alexa.
Yeah, so I have some questions, about 3 of them. So the first question I have is, what criteria should you use to pick service, vertical, or niche sites?
Yeah, and so I have a couple. Before I get to the criteria, I guess I'll give a little bit of background, right? So, because tax and accounting firms frequently, you're offering similar services, right? So it's very hard to be a generalist, very hard to stand out doing that. So specializing in a niche allows you to showcase expertise and provides really a kind of a perception that you have a knowledge advantage. There's something that other pros don't know because you specialize. And what that does is that yields what we love, and we call it pricing power. So if you're perceived to know more or to be a better expert, you're going to be able to price, you'll have pricing power there. You'll be able to charge more for the similar service if you were doing that as a generalist. So start by identifying an area of need or common requests that you're hearing that maybe you're referring people out or you say you're not working on right now. Criteria, if an industry niche, are you targeting local or nationwide, right? So it's much easier to target locally. We always hear, oh, I want to do nationwide. Yeah, we know with digital workflows, you can do nationwide. That's not the way Google works. So it's much harder to rank on a nationwide versus a local side. So if you live in an area where there are a lot of, let's say, dental practices that are successful, that might be an area that I would specialize in, right? So it's an area that local search would work. We can create content around it. We can make you a specialist who does value pricing or has some monthly subscriptions. That is where you can get some pricing power. Same goes for, let's just say it more, not just local versus nationwide. Let's do worldwide. So expat tax problems, or not tax problems, but tax preparation. Instead of focusing on the world, maybe focus on specific countries. Every country has their own rules and regulations. There's a lot of different support groups. This is where social media is huge. Like Israel's example, or different. Whatever it is, you've targeted maybe a couple different countries or a region, the Middle East. I'm giving examples, but it's much easier to get your brand found in that type of arrangement than trying to blanket the entire world. So those are some different tools or ways I would start looking at criteria. But 100%, the future is going to be in niche players. You can market to multiple niches. So you can have your main website where you're more of your generalist type thing, and then you can have, let's just say, 3 or 4 different niche related, and we are coming out with a product that will support this very soon. So you're going to be very excited about it. So definitely look forward to it. So I hope that someone answers that question.
Great, awesome. And the second question I have is, do you have plans for new remote interview tools?
Yeah, I think this goes to what I had mentioned before. We have Trello and the workflows. Our vision has always been for the product to be client-facing. So any way that you are working with a client, how can we make that experience, that user experience, part of the buying process? So meaning people care now, what you can do digitally. They care about, is it easy? Is there friction in working with you? Do you make it hard for me to work with you? So those are the items we've been working with the most. I think we have pivoted a little bit into the practice management with the workflow side. We are hearing a lot of people on which tools to use for video conferencing, video interviewing. There's concerns about security. So we're definitely exploring that. We might survey some of you, but if you have feedback you want to supply and send it into the VIP email, please do. And we'll definitely look at, what are the different suggestions, things that you think are missing right now that we could add to the product mix that would make things better. But we're definitely looking at some different items. I know telemedicine is going to be the huge growth area. And I think people are going to become more and more comfortable with doing kind of the video type interviewing. Again, we already gave you the tools to share documents. Do you need someone to come in? Do you need someone to drive and forget something or whatever? I mean, you can still have that face-to-face arrangement. So definitely something on our dev roadmap.
Okay, and the last question we're going to take is, how do I migrate to value selling programs?
Yeah, and I think this is an important element of just the way you should be pivoting your practice. It is a way to work with fewer clients, give them more, and quite honestly, save time and make more money, right? So we have done various workshops on value and packaging. We've, how to use silence, how to negotiate. I know that's not an area that most of you are trained on, so we have kind of given you some best practices on that. Please refer back to some old blog articles on countyworkspro.com or the workshops that we've done previously if you missed them. But value selling is basically, it's a sales technique, right? And it leverages what your client's anticipation of the benefits you're providing them with what you're actually providing, the value. How are you making their life better, right? So, if I hire you to do this service and you charge me X, if my anticipation is that I spend $5,000 and I get $30,000 in benefit, that's the value, right? So I'm not looking at it as an hourly rate. I'm looking at basically, okay, I'm willing to spend X based on the feeling or belief that I will actually receive, Y. So in other words, the value is the difference between the price you charge and the benefit the customer perceives they will get. So you need to work on your own marketing material and your own processes to help them understand the perception of what they're going to get out of it, right? So the more you pivot the conversation to help prospects focus on the value of the services, means that the price becomes less important. And they're going to start thinking about, that real big financial benefit. So, one way to make it clear that your clients are getting a lot of value for their money is to start using packaging. And that's where we talk about, package A at $400 a month, package B at $1,000 and $3,000, whatever. And we know not every package is perfect for every client. So these are just starting points. But if you can get more of your clients into these recurring package type programs, you'll find your firm is much more scalable and much more profitable. So use packages as opposed to the old method of hourly pricing. Clients know exactly what they're going to get, what they're going to pay, right? I know I'm paying $800 a month versus, it's almost when you're talking to your attorney, you try to keep the conversations very quick. You want to get off the phone as quickly as possible. So you don't want that to happen here. And this transparency often leads to less price sensitivity, since you removed the question mark from the equation. So there are firms out there right now that are using this practice. They're charging much more than you are if you're still stuck in the hourly services. They're getting more per client per year. So it's definitely a skill you need to master. And again, check out our previous workshops and our training there. I think it would be very beneficial. So I hope this workshop and all of these, quite honestly, are of benefit to you. We do appreciate having you as clients. We are more dedicated than ever, with the amount of money we put into our development, creating new tools, going with the kind of the Google mobile first world. We are in a different type of zero-click type of search. There's not everyone's going to your website. So our platform, more than any platform out there, does that for you. We want to make sure that you're utilizing it correctly. If you have any questions for us, please reach out, 800-442-2477, extension 4, or use the VIP at countingworkspro.com. And again, my last thing, get your GMB hooked up, and please get as many reviews as possible. It's more important than ever. I appreciate it, and have a good one.
Have a good day.